Picture this. You walk into a Canadian grocery store and see people buying milk in plastic bags. You visit a parking lot in Winnipeg and every car is what looks like an electrical umbilical cord hanging from the front bumper. You try to pay with American cash, and the cashier hands you back what looks like Monopoly money. Welcome to Canada, where everything you think you know about your northern neighbors is about to totally change. I'm here to reveal the bizarre, fascinating, and downright confusing realities of Canadian life that would make any American scratch their head and say, "What the hell, eh?" The milk bag phenomenon. Now let's start with something that breaks the brain of every American who encounters it: bagged milk. Not just any bagged milk, we're talking about 3 bags of milk sold together in a larger bag that you have to cut open with scissors and put in a special pitcher that literally every Canadian household owns. This isn't some quirky regional thing. Half of all milk in Canada is sold in bags, primarily in Ontario, Quebec, and the Maritime provinces. But here's where it gets weird. Canada's conversion to the metric system in the 1970s meant dairy producers needed to replace and resize existing milk containers, which were measured in imperial quarts. Changing glass bottles and redesigning jugs was expensive, but changing a 1-quart bag to a 1.3-liter bag was relatively painless. So while Americans stuck with their boring jugs, Canadians embraced what looked like IV bags for cows. The bags use 75% less plastic than jugs, ship more efficiently, and are estimated to last 20 years versus the discontinued $2 bill, which was less expensive to manufacture, but lasted only 1 year on average. Wait, that's not about milk, forget that. The coins last 20 years. The milk bags definitely don't last 20 years, that would be terrifying. But here's the kicker, there's an ongoing scientific debate about how to cut the bag. In a Huffington Post poll of 500 people, 70% always snip off just 1 corner of the milk bag. 20% always snip off 2 corners, and the rest are somewhere in the middle. Canadians are so passionate about their milk bag cutting technique that they've actually conducted physics experiments to determine the optimal pour method. Because apparently, when you live in a country where winter lasts 6 months, you have time to overthink dairy logistics. The underground electrical grid. Speaking of winter lasting 6 months, let's talk about something that looks like a scene from a dystopian movie but is actually just Tuesday in Winnipeg. Parking lots full of cars plugged into electrical outlets like some kind of automotive life support system. Every Canadian car north of, well, pretty much everywhere that really matters, comes equipped with something called a block heater. Using a block heater on a diesel engine is especially important in cold climates because diesel engines are more sensitive to low temperatures than gasoline engines. But gas engines need them too when temperatures dip below minus 30 degrees Celsius. Here's how this works. A block heater contains a heating element, much like an electric kettle or immersion heater. When plugged in, the heating element warms the surrounding metal, engine coolant, and oil depending on the type of heater. Basically, Canadians have to preheat their cars like Americans preheat their ovens. The infrastructure required for this is mind-boggling. These outlets allow automobile owners to plug their cars in while they're at work, home, or running errands. Office buildings, shopping centers, apartment complexes, they all have to install industrial-grade electrical systems just so people can keep their cars from becoming frozen paperweights. For $15 or $20, you can buy a block heater timer so you're not having to run out to plug in your car 4 hours before you use it. Because yes, you need to plan your car usage 4 hours in advance. Imagine calling in late to work because you forgot to plug in your car the night before. That's not a joke in Canada, that's a legit excuse. And God help you if you park somewhere without electrical access. If you are parking it for long periods like I do at the airport, then there's not much you can do unless you install a drop cycle battery or hook up a block recirculating heater, as one Canadian trucker lamented. Some people invest in remote start systems that automatically cycle the engine to prevent the block from freezing. Others just leave their diesel trucks running all night because they have to leave them running all night on big trucks or they won't start the next day. Monopoly money that's actually worth something. Now let's talk about Canadian money, which Americans have been mocking as monopoly money for decades, and honestly they're not entirely wrong. Canadian money is often referred to as monopoly money thanks to its bright colors and unique artwork. Unlike the less interesting greenback used in the United States of America, which all looks more or less the same, Canadian currency is truly beautiful. Each bill has a different color. Blues are 5s, purples are 10s, greens are 20s, reds 50s, brown 100. It's like someone decided to have fun with their money. But here's where Canadians show their sense of humor. For years, Canadians have been known to deface certain editions of the $5 note by using ink pens to alter Laurier's face to resemble Spock, the Star Trek character portrayed by Leonard Nimoy. This is known as Spocking Fives. The Bank of Canada actually had to redesign the bill because people wouldn't stop turning their first prime minister into a Vulcan. Then there are the coins. Americans have boring quarters and dimes, Canadians have loonies and toonies. The toonie is a bimetallic coin, which on the reverse side features an image of a polar bear by artist Brent Townsend. The coin's outline is an 11-sided rouleau polygon, because apparently regular circles were too mainstream. The names alone are delightful. Toonie is a portmanteau word containing the number 2 with the name of the loonie, Canada's $1 coin. The loonie got its name because it features a common loon, a bird found throughout Canada. The name toonie became so widely accepted that in 2006, the RCM secured the rights to it. But here's the best part. The failure in the bimetallic locking mechanism in the first batch of toonies caused some coins to separate if struck hard or frozen. So Canada introduced a coin that would literally fall apart in cold weather. In Canada, where it's cold, despite media reports of defective toonies, the RCM responded that the odds of a toonie falling apart were about 1 in 60 million. Still, deliberately attempting to separate a toonie is considered to be defacing coin currency, a summary offense under Section 456 of the Canadian Criminal Code. Only in Canada would they make coin separation a federal crime. Winter survival mode. Alright, let's talk about the elephant in the igloo. Canadian winters. And I don't mean, oh, it's a bit chilly winter. I mean average daily temperatures near negative 15 degrees Celsius or 5 degrees Fahrenheit, but can drop below negative 50 degrees Celsius or negative 58 degrees Fahrenheit with severe wind chills winter. I don't even know why I'm giving you the temperatures in Celsius because nobody here would know them. This kind of cold saps the energy from lithium-ion batteries, sometimes causing devices to shut down without warning. Your phone just dies from existing. The season also brings about practical challenges such as increased laundry from the layers of heavy jackets, scarves, mittens, and wool socks that you have to wear. And of course, there's the all too familiar scenario of mysteriously disappearing gloves, leaving many Canadians with mismatched pairs. But it gets worse. Common winter-related issues include freezing, as you might expect, clogging, and damage to pipes and other components. Burst pipes, often caused by ice buildup from leaks or dripping faucets, are a frequent problem. Frozen ground can complicate digging and excavating for the septic tank and drain fields. Even installing basic infrastructure becomes a multi-season project. The entire economy has to adapt. Snowstorms, freezing rain, black ice can make roads hazardous, significantly increasing the risk of accidents. For truckload shipping, visibility is often reduced. Mechanical issues often caused by freezing temperatures represent significant obstacles for long-haul truckers. Canadians just accept this as normal. They plan their lives around it, budget for it, and have entire industries built around surviving it. It's like living on an alien planet but with healthcare and politeness. The weird linguistic quirks. Then there's the language situation. Sure, Canadians speak English, but it's English that's been filtered through 150 years of let's make this slightly different than American. Canadians have their own unique sayings which might confuse people in the US. Still, many Americans don't understand why Canadians say and it's time that they do. According to Atlas Obscura, it's an invariant tag, something added on to the end of a sentence that's the same every time it's used. It's not just random, it actually serves a grammatical function. But this is just the beginning. Basically, only those living in Saskatchewan know what a bunny hug is and actually refer to it as such. This is what the rest of the country in America would refer to as a hoodie or a sweatshirt with pockets in the front. The name is thought to have originated in the 1960s, but the theory as to where it came from dates back much further. Speculation suggests the name comes from a time when the pelts of rabbits were used to create clothes for warmth. Canadians also have a French word that has become common in Canada, spreading from Quebec. Most locals wouldn't know what else to call this winter clothing item. The word refers to a hat worn in the wintertime that has a brim and is sometimes knitted. They call it a toque. So there you have it, Canada. They plug their cars into buildings and have loonies and toonies. From the outside, it looks like a slightly colder America with maybe more access to healthcare and colorful money. But from the inside, it's a complex society that has adapted to geography, climate, and history in ways that created uniquely Canadian solutions to universal problems. The milk bags exist because of the metric conversion and cost efficiency. Block heaters exist because internal combustion engines don't work when frozen solid. These aren't just quirky differences, they're adaptations. Canada took the problems of living in a vast, cold, sparsely populated country and solved them in ways that work so well, Canadians can't imagine living any other way. And maybe that's the most Canadian thing of all, quietly figuring out better ways to do things and then being too polite to brag about it. So, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time.